Hey, parents. I just wanted to take this quick minute. I had a parent who asked a couple questions in the Facebook group, and so I just wanted to pop into the Facebook group and answer those questions. So, the question was, how do you handle or how do you respond when your 3-year-old is asking or saying, I miss daddy, and who also was there when his dad passed away in the park, which obviously is a very traumatic and scary time. So I just wanted to kind of go through a couple quick tips. I think this applies to a lot of the parents in our group, and I hope that this brings you some insight and some more tangible tips on what to do for your child. So, first of all, and I know we've talked about this in many lives and you've heard this before, but we absolutely want to normalize their feelings. So, when they are talking about how much they miss them, you don't have to have something hugely brilliant to respond. You can say, I miss them too, or it's okay to be sad. What you're saying, because again, when you're 3, these are all brand new experiences. They're still learning their feelings. They're still trying to understand, my body feels this way. What does this mean? What word does this go with? And so you're helping them label their feelings. And by labeling their feelings, you are normalizing and helping them learn that this is okay. It's okay to feel this way. It's okay to have these feelings. The second thing is play. So, play is a child's natural mode of communication. What that means is when they go and play, they are playing out their feelings. They're playing out how they view the world. They're playing out their understanding of the world. And so, for a 3-year-old who has experienced dad dying in the park and EMS and the fire department showing up, those types of things, that is going to show up in his play. And so, what that means is we need to give him the words. So, we're going to make sure that in his toy box, he has an ambulance, he has a fire truck, he has maybe a little park setting, has little figurines of dad and maybe a little boy figurine. These are ways you're just providing the words. You're not directing him how to play with it. You're not telling him this is what he should do. You're just laying them out. And if he feels drawn to play that out, if that's something that's on his mind, he's going to play that out. He's going to act that out. And the more he does it, it is a good thing. So parents often get confused because we have this idea, if my child is playing this thing over and over and over, or saying it over and over and over, it must mean there's something wrong. In a kid's world, what that means is they are processing, they are understanding, they're taking in this event and trying to make sense of it. And so the more he plays it out, you could probably take a video at the very beginning when he first started playing this, and then start videoing towards after it's been a month or two, and then in a couple of months, and you will notice the play will change. The play will look different. It may be subtle, but it will be different. And the difference will be he's getting healing from playing it and processing it. What often happens is parents get concerned, or they're triggered themselves by watching their child experience this painful experience and replaying it and retelling it over and over, that our own parental discomfort gets in the way of our child's healing. And so we tend to intervene and want our child to stop playing this. You already know he's dead. Why are you still saying this? Why are you still playing this? But really, it's our child's innate ability to heal themselves. They're trying to work through it so that it doesn't become a post-traumatic event that then later on in life becomes a diagnosable condition. So we want to encourage that play. And even if you took him to a play therapist, he's going to play that out week after week after week in therapy. The difference between the therapist and a parent is that the therapist knows the things to say to help him get to the healthy healing. What I just taught you in number 1, the normalizing the feelings, that is one of the main components. If you can externalize for him as he's playing this out, wow, that's really scary. Or that was really scary when that big fire truck showed up that day. Again, you're saying out loud what he's already processing. He doesn't need you to say those things because he's processing it on his own. It's just an added benefit if you can vocalize it for him, because it then increases his feeling vocabulary to be able to describe that. So again, the other part is, because play is our kids' natural mode of communication, they are not necessarily going to sit down with you at age 3 and say, well, Mom, that day when I was in the park, it was really scary and it was really overwhelming when all these things happen. Most 3-year-olds aren't going to do that. Now, there are a few who are definitely well above their age range who might. But as they're talking with you, or even as they're playing and they're kind of talking through what's happening in their play, so maybe they're describing about how he and Dad were sitting on the swings that day and all of a sudden Dad fell over, whatever those details are, don't correct his details. And the reason why is, as he's processing, he's trying to make sense of it. He's trying to understand. And so your adult details of that day in this moment, they don't matter. So don't correct him. The other part of that is, the one time you would correct, the one time that you would want to step in and correct what they're saying, is if they follow it up by, and it's all my fault. Or, if I would have not wanted to go to the park that day, then Dad would still be alive. That's the place where I absolutely want you to intervene, because I want you to be very clear with your child that it is not their fault. But because kids are egocentric, they are naturally going to believe that somehow they caused this, that somehow if they would have done something different, Dad wouldn't have died that day. So that's just that slight little nuance there of when you would step in and correct. The other option is books. Books are a great tool. Find a book that is on grief and loss. Maybe there's one about a father and dad being together and Dad died. There are so many children's books out there, that one that is as close to your situation as possible. And even if you can't find one that's close, even if it is just on grief or dying, that is still beneficial, because it gives your child another way of processing the event. They're taking in the information auditory and visually. So they're looking at the book, but they're also hearing you tell the story. And sometimes that can prompt conversations. So that's always a good thing to do. Most importantly for parents, and parents, I absolutely want you to hear this, the number one thing you can do is just show up. Just be present in the room. When your child starts talking about these details, if it is triggering you, use some of the things we've talked about in the Facebook group, the tapping, the deep breathing, and calm your nervous system, but stay in the room. Don't be the parent who walks out of the room because your child's talking about death. They need you to be in there. They need you to be listening and present. And they also might need some physical touch. So they may need you to sit next to them. And I would always extend the offer. So asking them, is it okay if I come give you a hug? Is it okay if I give you a back rub while you're talking about this? Is it okay if I scratch your back? Some kids like that tactile sensory information, and it also calms their nervous system. So while they're talking about this very overwhelming topic, you providing physical touch helps calm their nervous system. It helps them relax and realize that what they're talking about has already happened. It is not a current situation in their nervous system that they need to be on high alert right now. Again, we want them to process. We want them to be talking about it so that they move through their grief in a healthy way and it doesn't become a diagnosable condition in the future. So I hope that this video helps with these quick tips. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment under the video, or you are welcome to send me a private message if you would like to. I'm going to check the comments real quick. Oh, I see there was a Facebook user. I can't see your name if you didn't hit the StreamYard link above, but it says amazing tools, so important, extremely helpful. Thank you so much. So glad that this was helpful. Absolutely, in our group, if there are ever questions and I can pop on here and give you a quick video or a quick tip, I want to do that for you because this is my passion, helping parents help their grieving kids so that your child isn't sitting here and struggling, and that you as the parent have the tools that you need so that you feel confident to address these situations that with kids are just going to pop up. We can't predict when they're coming. They're not always here. In fact, I was just talking with my husband earlier today. The differences in adult grief and kid grief is that adult grief, we get into this grief mode and we tend to stay there. We tend to get stuck. Kids pop in and out of their grief. And so it's not always predictable, and everything may look fine and then tomorrow it's not, or by this evening it's not. We just don't know when it's coming. And so having these tools in your toolbox allows you to handle it whenever it pops up and feel confident. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them underneath the video. I'll be happy to answer. Hope you all have a good weekend.